So stick our leads on here, and you see 12.2 volts. It's probably a little bit higher. I don't have these on there all that great. 12.3 volts. That's enough to start it. You want to see anywhere from 12.4 to 12.6 for a good healthy battery. But so we know that the battery's good and that has voltage. So what we're gonna do next is hop underneath the car to give a look at the starter, and it's all the way down there. So let me reset up the camera down there. We'll give it a few love taps to see if we can get this thing cranking over. Okay, so now we're underneath the car. Let me get a flashlight to my phone. You can see right there behind that exhaust and that O2 sensor is the starter, this piece right here. So what we're gonna do is, oh sorry, smacking you over. So what we're gonna do is we're just gonna take a little hammer and we're just gonna very easily tap on it at first. Start with a few love taps. We'll go try to start it, and then if that doesn't work, we'll smack it a couple times again. You really should have someone trying to start the car as you're tapping on the starter, but I'm by myself, so that's not going to work. So I've had success doing it by myself before. Just depends on how bad the starter is. So this is the original starter from O2, so it's pretty old. It's pretty amazing. OEM parts really do last that long. That's why I don't like aftermarket stuff. It usually is junk. So we'll go try to start it again, and if not, we'll give the starter a few more love taps. I'm almost positive that this issue's the starter, but it's always good to diagnose things before you just go swapping it in. Worst case scenario, you can power just the starter and see if it works, or rip it off, take it to a parts store, have them test it. But that's a real pain, especially if you could just tap it a few times, get it to start, then yeah, it's definitely the starter. So we'll go try to crank it a few more times and come back and tap it again if it doesn't work, and we'll go from there. So, let's go do that. We're back in the car. Give it round two. Oh, we got it kind of cranking. So let's go give it a few more taps, see if we can get this baby to start up. We got it to move a little bit. Let's try to give it a few more whacks. I'm going to tap it from this side now. Just give it a few good whacks. Keep hitting that heat shield. Alright, let's go try it again. Let's try this again. See if it works any. Oh, we got it to crank a little bit, but yeah, I think she's just a little too done for. We'll try one more time. Okay, so this time we're going to try a few harder whacks and a different hammer. So, just gonna smack it a few times on this side, and we'll go see if that made it any better. Because we got that first initial bite when we turned the key, and before we were getting absolutely nothing but clicking, I'd feel comfortable enough to call it. It's just a starter. They're pretty easy to diagnose when they're bad. Usually your car just works perfectly fine and then it's just dead. But since the starter was trying to engage after we tapped it, I'd feel comfortable enough to call it right now. But I would like to try to get this thing to fire up. So let's go try it one more time. If not, then we'll call our losses. Have to put a starter in it. So let's see if that did anything at all. Oh, look at that. Fired up. So, sometimes you just got to give it a few love taps, and she'll fire right up for you. So, we can definitely call it at this point. Definitely a starter. Just does nothing but click. I guess that's it. Just got to replace the starter now. So, that was pretty cool, though, that I got it to fire up on camera after giving it a few love taps. You can still see my phone there. But, yeah, that's the starter right there. So, I guess next video we'll be replacing it. I don't know what is wrong with the car. It's definitely the starter. I just want to take the time out to show you more than likely what's going on with the starter that's on the vehicle. This is actually an old starter from my '96 Maxima. that I just recently replaced about 2 years ago. So first off, to get the starter out, assuming if you maybe don't know how to, this is the actual starter and this is the starter solenoid. So usually you'll have a wire going on the back of this you'll have to take off, and your mounting points on this starter, there's just two, so you pop them bolts off, take that wire off the back of here, and then you just undo the connector. The location of them is usually the problem, and why it costs so much in labor to get to. This starter you could do from the top of the engine, where the one we were just looking at, you're obviously going to have to do it from underneath, so there's not too much stuff in the way, so it's not that big of a deal. But so the reason the starters don't work after a while usually is because this gear right here has to slide out. You can see the shaft right here is all shiny. Well, it gets shot out and then it attaches to the flywheel. So these teeth, you can actually see the marks where it was contacting the flywheel for so long, so many startups. So when you give it power and you turn the key, this gear comes out to about here and attaches onto the flywheel and spins the engine. Well, a lot of times what happens after a while is it just won't come out, and then it won't attach to the flywheel, therefore you can't start the car. So when you tap it, you usually free that up inside there. There could be a whole bunch of other things wrong inside the internals, and it might not just be that this might be coming out and just doesn't have enough power to spin it, but usually that's what happens. You smack it a few times, it allows this to move out, and everything's happy, and away you go. But if you have to tap your starter once because it's just not working, don't go out. There's a really good chance it's probably not gonna work again. It might, who knows, but I wouldn't want to be stuck paying for a tow truck or nothing. But I just figured I'd show you. So we will be replacing the starter on the Eclipse. I'll have a video of that soon. But I just wanted to show you what's actually going on. A lot of people don't get to see starters, what they look like, what they do. So I just kind of wanted to give you a general idea of how it all works. Now a lot of times, and especially back in the day, a lot of people would just replace this solenoid. It wouldn't be getting power or something, but starter, they're $150 if you're gonna spend the money at the time. Especially getting to the starter can be a pain in the butt sometimes. So if you're gonna be replacing parts, just replace the whole starter. You can. The new one that I replaced this one with was $150. Has a warranty on it, and what I will suggest though, if you ever replace a starter or an alternator, don't buy a remanufactured piece. I've had so many problems with remanufactured parts. They're just usually junk. I know they're a bit more cheap, but would you rather your car work or not work? I'd much rather just one and done is what I say. You spend the money now and you won't have any problems with it for a really long time. So the choice is yours, but I've had really bad experiences with remanufactured parts, so I definitely do not recommend that. Just buy it new, swap it in, and you're good to go. That's what I usually do when I have a no crank, no start. Usually I go straight to the battery first. If that's good, I'll check out the starter, and then usually it stops there. If not, it could be a relay, or your alternator died or something. It's got to be something. So I just go down the list. First two things I always check though is the battery and the starter. So that's just how I go about it. If you found this video helpful at all, please share it. Thumbs up, subscribe. I appreciate the view. If you don't like this video, thumbs down. Comment and let me know what you didn't like about it, what kind of improvements you would like to see. I'd really appreciate any kind of feedback at all. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.